Hey guys, welcome back. So it's 2026, which means that it's actually been 20 years since my first Partscaster build. It was a sunburst basswood all parts telly body with a one-piece maple neck that was bought out of like an actual trash bin at an army surplus store in Naples, Idaho. I put a lot of time into that thing, sanding it down and really getting the body contours to what I liked. I refinished it in this ugly brownish black ebony stain that I got from Home Depot. I actually still have one piece of it left after all these years. Since then, I've built countless Partscasters, Tellys, Strats, Jazzmasters, Jaguars, basses, you name it. But I've always kind of dreamt of building a period correct Blackguard. Over the pandemic, my wife actually bought me Nacho Baños' Blackguard Book, which sort of became my Bible. So over the past 5 years, I've been collecting parts and kind of getting everything that I need for my perfect telly. I just thought this would be kind of a fun little project to get on video, so come along and let's put this bad boy together. Okay, so first things first, this body is from MJT in Missouri. I think I ordered it mid-2020. At that time, I think they were ramping up production because of all the increased demand during the pandemic. And this one, I will say, is maybe not the best example for their aging work. There are some lacquer bubbles and just overall a little less authentic than they usually are. This neck is by Musikraft in New Jersey, and it's a Blackguard neck, which is a series in partnership with the Blackguard Book, where basically they do recreations of the specs from each of the necks. This particular neck is based on serial number 2852. It is a U-shaped 54. It's 0.93 at the first fret and 1 inch at the 12th. It's a big, chunky neck, exactly how I like them. As for parts, most everything is from Marc Rutters in Tennessee. I've got the 1950 flat top strap buttons and string post bushings, the 1951 string tree, the 50s control plate and string ferrules, the 50 to 52 jack ferrule, and that one is actually milled just like those earliest jack cups were before they switched over to the sort of thin metal kind that you would see on most reissues. Got the Nocaster Knobs. Those are a little shorter than Broadcaster knobs, and they have a rounder head, though not quite as domed as the 53-54 style, but definitely a little smoother on the fingers. Then we've got a Lacquered Pickguard with the paint can ring on the back and slotted stainless screws all around from Callaham out of Virginia. Then I've also got this vintage Dockaware switch tip. It's probably been kicking around in my parts bins for 15 years. I ordered this Fender bridge plate with a custom stamped serial number. I know this number would put it in 1956 or something, but it's my wedding anniversary and I'm more of a romantic than a purist. I got some of Fender's compensated brass saddles, and I'm also using their American Vintage reissued neck plate. The only non-American parts are going to be some Japanese Godo no-line tuners, which are about the best I can find since nobody makes proper replicas of the early 50s closed-back single-line Klusons. As for wiring, nobody makes a good repro of the stack pole electronics that would have been in the originals. So instead, it's going to be the regular old modern stuff, CTS 250K pots, and a CRL switch. For pickups, I was going back and forth. I've got some Virgil Arlos that are pretty nice, but I'm really partial to these Seymour Duncan La Brea pickups, so I think I'm going to use those. So, putting the hardware together, I almost immediately ran into a snag. The hole in the back of the bridge plate where the low E saddle mounts wasn't drilled properly, so the screw won't fit through. An easy enough fix, but this is a great example of the sort of little issues you run into when putting together Partscasters. About 10 years ago, I went to Corona, California to tour the Fender factory, and it was mind-blowing just how industrial the operation was. They had huge stamping machines like you'd see in an old Chrysler plant, cutting out neck plates and bending telly bridges. The tour guide explained that many of the machines were the same ones Leo bought back in the 50s, and aside from the advent of CNC, much of the process today is the same as it was then. Make what you can in-house, contract out for anything too specialized or precise. They follow lean manufacturing processes, ordering materials and winding pickups in batches that are just big enough to cover whatever run they're on. You see this with modern Gibson pickups as well. Often the date sticker is within the same week as the next stamp. This allows them to be nimble, making changes relatively quickly. A good example of this is the American Vintage 2 Series Jazzmasters a few years back. Immediately upon release, offset enthusiasts, including our old pal Mike, cried foul on Fender using a pre-CBS small headstock for the 1966 Jazzmaster.
You little turd! You ruined my life for the last time!
As soon as the initial run sold through, Fender was able to replenish dealers with an updated version including the correct CBS-style big headstock.
Now we're talking! Now we're talking!
The nerds were made happy, and it cost Fender nothing. Streamlined processes and incremental improvements add up to an exponentially better final product and a happier customer. Having spent the better part of 20 years in the corporate business world, those same Kaizen Six Sigma principles have seeped into the way I view every process. Relentless pursuit of quality standards, even focusing on the smallest details. For example, these frets are fine, but would they pass Philip McKnight's pantyhose test? Nope. So we spend the time to reestablish a consistent edge with a StewMac beveling file and fine-tune from there with the Music Nomad diamond fret dressing file. Follow that up with a few superfine sanding sponges, and we've got beautiful rounded fret ends. Overall, there's not a lot to putting together Fender-style guitars. These were originally designed by a non-musician to be mass-produced and assembled by folks who worked in furniture factories making tables and bed frames. In Forrest White's book, Fender, The Inside Story, Leo Fender is quoted as saying, "If something is easy to repair, it is easy to construct. The design of each element should be thought out in order to be easy to make and easy to repair." That ethos holds true for pretty much all Fender guitars. Electrical components aside, they're simple machines with simple mechanisms. The art is in the adjustment. The difference of a good setup is the difference between an old Gremlin and a brand new Mercedes. With any guitar, setup is a balancing act. But with a vintage style telly, there's a lot more compromise. The 7 1/4 inch radius means your action is going to be a bit higher if you want to bend. 2 strings per saddle means you're never going to be intonated perfectly. The truss rod nut being at the heel and the neck pickup being mounted beneath the pickguard make it a pain in the ass to adjust. It's all the nature of the beast. You fix what you can, you accept what you can't, and you move forward.